welcome to video classes. So in the last class we have discussed about the interference. Okay, we have completed what is the interference and the conditions also we have discussed, and we have done so many problems and so many concepts are there in the case of interference. But the basic concepts you need to remember. Okay, our next concept is the diffraction. Again, the diffraction is depends on the interference itself. So that's why it is very essential to remember the interference conditions in the diffraction also. Okay, so before going to discuss about the diffraction, one more important concept we are required, that is the wavefront. Because this wavefront is very important. If you won't understand what is the wavefront, then it will become very difficult to understand about the diffraction pattern. Okay, so let us discuss about the wavefront. Wavefront means nothing but we are going to explain how the light will travels in the form of waves and how it will be travels in the forward direction, which is explained by the Huygens scientists. That's why it will be called as a Huygens wavefront also. Okay, it is going to be explained by the Huygens. Okay, so let us see that what is the wavefront here. So when I want to refer to that, there is a candle we are going to taking here. Let us say that this is a candle, a source of light we are taking in this place. Okay. And we know that whenever we are going to take a source of light, then this source of light will spread the light in all the directions, not in one direction. It will travel in all the directions. That means in the spherical form, it is going to be spread itself. And we know that the light waves are the transverse waves. Transverse waves means the direction of the vibration of the particles will be perpendicular to the propagation of light. That means if the ray of light is traveling right side direction, and then the vibrations will be perpendicular direction will be takes place. Like that, let us say that the waves are going to be produced. And let us say that a particular wave, okay, a particular wave is going to be traveling at a certain distance. That means you are going to take a candle, okay, after lighting the candle here, after certain time, let us say that a wave is going to reach up to this point. Okay, the wave is going to reach up to this point here. Now, this is a wave which is going to be reached when you are going to refer to a certain point you are going to be taking here at a certain time. And we know that what is the velocity of the light? The velocity of the light is 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. Okay, with that velocity the light is traveling, and with the same velocity the wave is also going to be travels from one place to another place. So at a certain time the wave started from the candle is going to be reached up to this point. Now, according to the Huygens scientists, what he said that whatever the wave we are going to be taking here, and whatever the individual particle or the point inside the wave or on the wave will be act as a individual source of light. That means whatever the particles you are going to take or whatever the points you are take on this wavefront, each and every point will be act as an individual source of light. For example, if I am going to locate the few points on the wavefront, let us say that this here I am going to take one point, and here I am going to take one more point, and here another point. Like that, I am going to take the different points at the different locations on the wavefront. These are the different points I am taking here, and each and every point will be act as a individual source of light. Okay, so these are the points I am taking here. Each and every point will be act as a individual source of light. If they are going to be acting as an individual source of light, then what happens? These points are also emit the light in the form of waves, because the source of light will always emit the light with the same velocity 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. So in this way. Now let us say, sir, for imagine this is also called as a point source. Okay, if you are going to call it as a point source, and this is called the secondary source of light. Okay, what it will be called as a secondary source of light. The primary source of light is this one, and whatever the other particles you are going to taking, other points you are taking, which are going to be considered as a source of light, those are going to be called as a secondary source of light. So all these points will be act as a secondary source of light, and they are emitting the waves. For example, if you are saying that this is a source of light, then it will emit the light in this form, and in this waveform the light is going to be spread here. After that, what you are saying, this particle is also source of light. Then what happened? This particle is also send the waves, and again what happened? This is also going to be send the wave, and it is going to be reaching here. And again, this point you are going to be considered. This one is also source of light. This is also send the waves. Then this is also going to send the waves, and it is going to be traveling in this direction. And again, this is also act as a source of light. Then the waves are going to be sent, and they are going to reach like this. And this one is acting as a source of light. Then the wave is going to be traveling like this. If it is act as a source of light, then again it will becomes like this. And again it is also act as a source of light. It will send the waves in this direction. So what is happened here? every point you are going to consider which is the source of light is sending the waves. Which waves? Light waves it is sending, and you are going to get this type of diagram. And when I'm going to refer to all the points at these places, okay, all the points at these places are going to be in the same phase. Okay, you are going to be having the same phase. That means you are going to take a straight line. Okay, you are going to take a wavefront which is going to touch all these points. So now what happened? You are going to construct a wavefront which is going to be touching all the points at here, and which will be act as a secondary source of light. That means the point at here, the point at here, and the point at here, all these points are going to be having the same phase will be takes place. And whatever this wavefront is there, this wavefront will be called as a wavefront, or secondary wavefront will be takes place. This is called wavefront. Okay. Now, how can you define the wavefront? If you want to define the wavefront, is nothing but it is the locus of the points. Okay, because whatever the points you are taking, from along that points you are going to take a line, or you are going to take a curved line. So that's why it will be defined as the locus of the points. Okay, the locus of all the points in the wave motion which are in the same phase will be called as a wavefront. That means whatever the particle you can take at this point, whatever the particle is there, at this point whatever the particle is there, at this point whatever the particle is there, each and every particle will be in the same phase. So that's why this is also called as a wavefront. In case if you are going to be constructed this wavefront after 1 second, that means the distance between the first wave and the second wave, how much distance will be there? Because the light travels 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second in 1 second. If you are going to convert it to kilometers, how much it will come? 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter, 3 into 10 to the power 5 kilometer per second. 3 into 10 to the power 5 kilometer per second is nothing but 3 lakh kilometer per second. That means in 1 second, the distance between the first wave and second wave will be 3 lakh kilometers will be takes place. After 1 more second, if you want to find out that, and whatever the wave is there at here, again you are going to consider the different points, and each and every point again act as an individual source of light, which are called the secondary source of light. And these individual points again send the waves. Again, one more wavefront you are going to have. On that wavefront, again you are going to consider the points. Those are also act as an individual source of light, and they also send the waves. In this way, what happened? The light will continuously travels in the up to the infinite distance once the light is going to be spread. Okay, that means once the light is going to be spread, it is not going to be dispersed. It will continuously travels like the electromagnetic wave itself. Okay, so this is called the wavefront. Okay, the definition is very important. You have to remember. Okay, what the definition is? The locus of all the points in the wave motion which are in the same phase will be called as a wavefront. Okay, it is not only belongs to the light itself, it will belongs to the sound also, because the sound is also travels in the form of waves. But the light will travel in the form of longitudinal waves in the air. But in the water, if you can refer, it will be travels in a transverse wave only. I think most of you know that when we are going to drop a stone in the plain water, in the still water, then what happened? Where we are going to drop the stone, at that point what happened? The waves are going to be travels, and these waves are going to be continuously travels in the outside direction like this. So these are the uniform circles will be there. You are going to drop first stone, first wave will travel. Drop the second stone, second wave will travel. And whatever the wave is traveling here, at every point, at any point you may take, the phase will be remains same. So that's why these are also called as a wavefront itself. That means the wavefront is not only for the light, the wavefront will be takes place in every type of the wave motion. If the sound is traveling in the wave motion, definitely the wavefront will be takes place. How can you define it? The same definition. Okay. So the definition is very important for 1 mark and 2 marks also. Even for competitive part also you have to remember. Okay. Once again, definition: the locus of all the points in the wave motion which are in the same phase will be called as a wavefront. Okay. According to Huygens scientist, what is explained in the wavefront, whatever the point or the particle you are going to be taken, each and every point and every particle will be act as a secondary source of light, and that secondary source of light again emits the wavelets. If you can understand this concept, then it will become very easy to understand about the diffraction pattern. Okay, so this is the wavefront. Now, so we are going to discuss that if the waves are going to be produced, then the wavefront we are going to be calculated, or we are going to be constructed. If I am going to construct the wavefront, the wavefronts are only in the spherical shape, because whatever we are going to take here, this is a 2-dimensional. That's why it is not possible to show that it is a spherical wavefront. Actually, it is a spherical wavefront. Because if you are taking the candle means what happened, the light is going to be spread in all directions. Okay, in which form it is going to be spread? Spherical form. So if the candle is there, what happened? The light is going to be spread in all directions. That means it is going to be spread in the form of a sphere. And what we will call it as a spherical wavefront. Okay, what it will be called as a spherical wavefront. So based on that, the shape of the source of light, depend on the shape of the source of the light, what happened? The wavefronts are going to be changes. So there so many types of wavefronts are there, but basically we are going to discuss about the three types of the wavefronts. First one is called the spherical wavefront, second one is called the plane wavefront, and the third one is called the cylindrical wavefront. Okay, we are going to discuss about the three types of the wavefronts. First one, spherical wavefront, second one, plane wavefront, and the third one is the cylindrical wavefront. Okay, let us discuss how we are going to produce these wavefronts itself. Right. So first we are going to discuss about the spherical wavefronts. For the spherical wavefronts, same as usual, I am going to take a candle over this place. Okay, this is a candle I am taking here. In front of this, I am going to arrange a cardboard. Okay, I am going to arrange a cardboard. For this cardboard, I am going to arrange a circular slit. Okay, what type of the slit I am arranging? I am going to arrange a circular slit. So when I am going to arrange a circular slit, then what happened? Whatever the light coming from that circular slit, that means if I am going to arrange a screen like this and this is going to having a circular slit, what happened? The light will passes through the circular slit, and outside whatever the waves are coming, those are belongs to the spherical waves. Okay, those are belongs to the spherical waves, and the spherical waves are going to be traveling like this. Okay, while the time is going to be passes, what happened? The spherical waves will travel in the forward direction like this. So if you are going to extend them, what happens? You are going to get a spherical waveform you are going to get. So that's why these are called the spherical wavefronts. That means if you want to obtain the spherical wavefronts, definitely which type of slit you are going to have? You are going to have a circular slit. Whenever you are going to have a circular slit, you are going to have the spherical wavefronts. Next one is plane wavefront. So the plane wavefronts are going to be obtained by using the spherical wavefronts only. Okay, for example, if I am going to say that this is a spherical wavefront you are taking, so I am not going to take the complete wavefront. I am going to take a small part of this wavefront. Small part of this wavefront means from this point to this point I am taking. Okay, you are going to consider this part only. Forget about the remaining thing. Do you found that this is a curved line or a straight line? Obviously, you are going to look like it is a straight line. If it is a straight line, then it is nothing but a wavefront. And wavefront which is a straight line, then what it will be called as a plane wavefront. Okay, what it will be called as a plane wavefront. That means the plane wavefronts can be obtained by using the spherical wavefronts only. But how we are going to obtain the plane wavefronts? If you want to obtain the plane wavefronts, instead of taking complete the wavefront, you are going to take a small part of that spherical wavefront. Okay, small portion of the spherical wavefront if you can consider, then that will be act as a plane wavefront. As is the every line, for example, here also you can take how much long it is going itself, what happened, that much curve is going to be increases, and at the right time what happened, if I am going to take this line, okay, if I am going to take this portion of this wavefront, okay, this portion of this wavefront will not be called as a spherical wavefront. It is a part of wavefront, but it is in a straight line. That's why it will be act as a plane wavefront will be takes place. Okay. In further diffraction pattern, also we are going to discuss about this point, because sometimes we are going to use the plane wavefronts and sometimes we are going to use the spherical wavefronts. So how we are going to have the spherical wavefronts and the plane wavefronts, which is very important to know about here. Okay. If you are not going to use the slit, for example, how could you take this small portion? If you want to take this small portion, what you have to do, you are going to arrange a small slit. Okay, small slit you are going to be arranging. Okay, for example, you are saying that this is a wave is traveling in the forward direction, and I am going to arrange a small slit over here. Okay, this is a small slit over here. Then what happened? This wave is going to be interact with the slit. This is the obstacle and this is the obstacle, and the middle portion is empty space. There is a way is there to go the light. Whenever this wavefront is going to be interacted here, then what happened? This part of light is going to be interacted here, the remaining is going to be stops at here. And whatever the wavefront we are going to be obtained in between these two, okay, whatever the wave we are going to be obtained in between these two will be act as a parallel plane wavefront or the spherical wavefront. obviously it will be act as a plane wavefront. Why it is a plane wavefront? Because you are taking a very small portion of the spherical wavefront. Okay, this is the way that you are going to have in the plane wavefront. Okay, I hope now you understood what is the spherical wavefront and the plane wavefront. Okay, so the plane wavefronts are going to be obtained from the spherical wavefronts only. Okay, right up now we have completed the two types of the wavefronts we have completed, and now we are going to discuss about the next one, that is the cylindrical wavefront. When I am going to refer to the cylindrical wavefront, if you want to obtain the cylindrical wavefront, we are going to have a rectangular slit. You are going to have a linear source of light. We are required a linear source of light. That means, for example, it is completely acting as a source of light. Then what happened? This source of light, linear source of light, will spread the waves in the form of cylindrical wavefronts can be produced. That means the waves are producing in the cylindrical way. Okay, it is going to be spread in the cylindrical form will be there. For that, same as easily, we are going to take a candle over here, and this time also I am going to arrange a cardboard. Okay, I am just going to arrange a cardboard. This time I am going to arrange the slit in linear direction. So the linear direction I am going to arrange the slit. So I am going to arrange the slit like this. If I am going to see from this side, then what I can found, I didn't found that the candle is there over here. I can found that this is a source of light will be act as, and this is a source of light which is in the linear form. And whatever the waves are coming out from the slit will be forms or produces the cylindrical wavefront. Cylindrical wavefront means they are going to be produced like this. So in this way, the cylindrical wavefront is going to be produced. If the cylindrical wavefront is going little bit more distance, what happened? The size is going to be increases because the light is going to be spreads and expands here, and here you are going to get the cylindrical wavefront is going to be expanding here like this. So in this way, what happened? The cylindrical wavefronts are going to be produced. So these are called the cylindrical wavefronts. In the cylindrical wavefronts also, if you are going to take a small portion, okay, if you are going to take a small portion here, then it will be act as a plane wavefront. Okay, the cylindrical wavefront also, if you are going to take a small portion, then it will be act as a plane wavefront, same as like in the spherical wavefronts also. That means the plane wavefronts can be obtained by using the spherical wavefronts also it is possible, and by using the cylindrical wavefronts also it is possible. But what is the difference is there? You need to remember. First one, if you are going to have the circular slit, which type of wavefronts you are going to produce? The spherical wavefronts. When you are going to use a rectangular slit or a linear slit, then which type of wavefronts you are going to have? You are going to have a cylindrical wavefronts are going to be produced. Okay, these are the explanation of the wavefronts, how the wavefronts are going to be produced, and what type of the wavefronts are there. Okay, once again, very important thing, what is the Huygens wavefront means? Okay, every point or the particle in the wavefront will be, or in the wave motion, will be act as a secondary source of light, and this secondary source of light will send the waves again in the form of light waves, and with what velocity? With the same velocity of 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. Okay, these are called the wavefronts. If you want to define it, the locus of all the points in the wave motion which are in the same phase. If you have not mentioned the word the same phase, then the meaning will be changes or the definition will become strong. So if you are taking the wavefront means each and every point should be in the same phase, then only it will be called as a wavefront will be called it as. Okay. So these are the concepts of the wavefronts you need to understand about this concept, and spherical wavefronts, plane wavefronts, and the cylindrical wavefronts. Okay. Right. Now let's go discuss about the diffraction pattern. So next we are going to discuss about the diffraction. So all of you must remember this is some of the interesting concept also, the diffraction pattern. Okay, and it is based on the interference pattern only. So how it is going to be related with the interference? Just now we are going to before that you are going to discuss about this one now. Okay, so for example, if I want to take a candle here, say I am taking a candle at this place, and I am going to arrange the screen at this place. Okay, I am going to arrange the screen at this place. After that, I am going to arrange an obstacle in front of the candle. Okay, this is an obstacle I am going to be arranging. Okay, this is an obstacle I am arranging here. Now what happens here, the light coming from the candle is going to be traveling in a rectilinear direction, and what happened, the light is going to be traveling in the rectilinear direction, and it is going to be travel and is going to be incident on the screen, and it is going to travel like this. It will come in and it is going to be incident on the screen in this way. Let us get points here. You can say this is A and this is B. Okay, this is A and this is B. Okay, you understand here, this is an obstacle you are going to place it here. Okay, when you are going to take the candle here and you are place the obstacle and you are arrange the screen at this place, the light coming from the candle is going to be traveling in the front direction, in the rectilinear propagation direction, and it is going to be interact with the obstacle and it is going to be fall on the screen. If you are going to observe the screen, what will you observe? From A to B, it will be act as a bright or dark? Obviously it will be bright. Why it will be bright? Because the light is directly going to interact with the screen. From which point to which point? From point A to point B. That's why this total will be act as a bright. Below the B, what happens? You are going to get the dark, or it will be called as a geometrical shadow place. What is this part is called the geometrical shadow place. That means below B, what happened? The light is not going to reach the screen. Why the light is not going to reach the screen? Because here the obstacle is there, which is stopping the light to travel towards this direction. Okay, it will happen in case if the ray of light is traveling in the rectilinear propagation direction. No doubt, according to the rules and the significances and the conditions, we know that the light will travel in the rectilinear propagation direction, but unless it is going to be interact with any obstacle. If the ray of light is not going to be interact with any obstacle, no doubt the ray of light will travel in the rectilinear propagation direction. But whenever a ray of light is traveling in the rectilinear propagation direction, and whenever it is going to be interact with the obstacle, then what happens? The direction of ray of light will changes, or the ray of light will bend towards the obstacle. That means what happens here? Whenever the ray of light is traveling, there is no obstacle, it will travel in the rectilinear propagation direction. But whenever an obstacle will come, then immediately what happens? Whenever the ray of light will interact with the obstacle, then it will bend towards the obstacle. Towards the obstacle means here it is going to interact with the obstacle, and which direction it will bend? Towards the obstacle means downside. It will bend downside and it will be travels in this direction. And it is going to reach B dash. Where it is going to reach? B dash. So what is happening here? Whenever the ray of light is traveling here, whenever the obstacle is there, it is bending towards the obstacle and is going to reach the B dash. Now if you are going to see the screen, what you observe? Are you going to get the bright band up to B only? No. Because the ray of light is bending here up to B dash, that's why you are going to get the bright band up to B dash. Below the B dash, what happened? You are going to get the dark band will be takes place, or the dark place will be there, which is called the geometrical shadow place. So what is happening here? The ray of light is enters into the geometrical shadow place, and this phenomenon will be called as a diffraction. Okay, the different types of pronunciation will be there. In some places it will be called as a diffraction, in some places it will be called as a diffraction. Okay, whatever you want you can pronounce it, diffraction or the diffraction. So I am used to call it as a diffraction. Okay, that is up to you itself. Okay, so this is the diffraction pattern we are going to be having. Okay, now simply how can you define this diffraction? If you want to define this diffraction, it can be defined as the bending of ray of light. Okay, the bending of ray of light at the edge of the obstacles will be called as a diffraction. Okay, it is traveling, there is no obstacle, that's why it is traveling rectilinear direction. Whenever the obstacle is there, bending towards the obstacle, which is a very, very important one. The ray of light will be bent, but in which direction it will bend? Towards the obstacle. Okay, always it will bend towards the obstacle. This phenomenon will be called as a diffraction. In the diffraction, if you can observe very clearly, what happens here? This from A to B, it will be completely bright. But when I go to refer to B to B dash, this part is not completely bright. It is a mixed place will be takes place where you are going to get the fringes or the bands you are going to have, bright and the dark bands you are going to have. And why you are going to have the bright bands and the dark bands? Again, we are going to explain based on the interference concept. Next step we are going to discuss about that. But right up now, you have to imagine that the ray of light will enters into the geometrical shadow place due to the reason of diffraction pattern. Okay, so this is the diffraction. Once again, the definition: the bending of ray of light at the edge of the obstacle is called the diffraction. Sometimes it will be evaporatedly this be defined as when a ray of light is traveling in a rectilinear direction, whenever the obstacle will come, then the ray of light will bend towards the obstacle. This phenomenon will be called as a diffraction. Like that also you can explain it. Okay, right. Now, based on this diffraction, there are some applications are there. Okay, the applications are also very important for the competitive part. Okay, how the applications will be asked. For example, due to the reason of this diffraction, I am going to explain here. So let us say that same I am going to take the candle at this place. Okay, take the candle, and I am going to take the cardboard over here. Okay, this is a cardboard I am taking, and this cardboard is going to have a circular slit. Okay, a cardboard is going to have a circular slit, and exactly opposite to this I am going to arrange a screen. Okay, I am going to arrange a screen. The light coming from the candle is going to travel exactly in the rectilinear propagation direction, and it is going to interact the slit. And on the screen, what happens? You are going to get the size of the slit, because whatever the object you are placing here, that shadow is going to be placed on the screen. As simply, when I go to refer to that, this is a circular hole you are made. Okay, circular hole you are made, and the image of the circular hole is going to be produced on the screen. Then, what is the size of the hole will be? Okay, the size of the hole on the screen will be large in size or small in size. Okay, you have to explain based on this diffraction pattern. So, what you can say, obviously what happened, the size of the hole formed on the screen will be larger in size. Why it will be larger in size? Because what happens here, whenever the ray of light is traveling and the rectilinear propagation direction, whenever it is going to be produced at here, then what happened, it is an empty space. And what is the diffraction explains, it will bend towards the obstacle. Where is the obstacle is there? Upside. Here the obstacle is there? Downside. That's why what happened, this is going to be bends, travels in this direction, and it will bend downside and it will be travels in this direction. And here we are going to have a circular hole. The circular hole we are going to form at this place. So what you are identifying here, on the screen, whatever the image of the hole is there, that is larger in size will be produces. What is the reason is? The reason is the diffraction itself. Next, one more application is there. Same type of the concept. For example, here I am going to take the candle. Let us say that. So same, I am going to take the candle over this place. Okay, this is the candle I am taking, and I am going to place an object at here, a rod of length. Okay, rod of length A I am going to taking here. Do one thing, take little bit distance, for distance here. Let us say that you are going to arrange the at this place. Okay, you are going to arrange at this place. Now, what happens? You are going to arrange the screen at this place. Okay, you are arranging the screen at here. Okay, you are arranging the screen. Now, if the ray of light is traveling in a rectilinear propagation direction, in a straight direction, what should happen? Whatever the size of the length of the object is there, the same size of the length of the object should be found. Now, if the candle or the source of light will produce the image of this object on the screen, then what is the size of the image? The length of the image, more than the object or less than the object? Again, this is a very important point for the competitive part also. Okay, so large in size or small in size? Obviously, it is small in size. Why it is small in size? Because the light coming from the candle is traveling in a rectilinear direction and is going to be incident on the object like this. Whenever the ray of light is going to be interact the obstacle, then what happened? The ray of light will bend towards the obstacle. Here bends towards the obstacle means what happened? The ray of light will bend down or up? It will bend down, because upside there is no obstacle is there. Downside only obstacle is there. That's why here the ray of light will bend down, and it is going to be travel to reach at this point. And at this point also what happened? The ray of light is interact with the obstacle. Downside there is no obstacle is there. So only upside. So that's why what happened? This ray of light will bend in which direction? Upward direction. So the ray of light will bend in the upward direction and is going to be interact at this place. So this is A and this is B. What is AB represents? Length of the object. And what is this A dash B dash represents? A dash B dash represents the size of the image. Larger in size or smaller in size? Smaller in size. Okay, don't be confused in the examination. If you are going to have a circular hole you are placing on the screen, what happened? The ray of light will bend away from, bends towards the obstacle, and the size of the hole will be maximum. If I will take a length of the rod here, okay, rod you are taking here, then what happens? The ray of light will bend towards the obstacle and the size of the object will be very small. In case, if I am going to increase the distance of the screen, okay, I am going to take the screen at this place. Okay, I am going to take the screen at this place. Then what happened? This ray of light is travels and going to reach at this point. This ray of light is going to be traveling and going to reach this point. Are you going to get any shadow? There is no shadow is going to be produced. Because when you are going to increase the screen, this ray of light is going to reach at here. What is the upper part is? Bright. Because the light is coming from here. Whenever the bottom part you are taking, it is going to reach at this place. Then what happened? This part is also bright. Okay, above this is bright and below this is also bright. Are you going to get any shadow? No shadow is going to be produced. The object will be there, but there is no shadow is going to be produced here. For example, if I want to say that opposite to me there is a candle is there is a light is there, tube light is there, source of light is there. If I am going to place the pen at this place, do you found that the image is going to be produced on the screen? No image is going to be produced. Why there is no image is going to be produced? The reason is the light coming from here will bends and the light coming from here is also bends and it will be travels. If I want to take very nearer to it, then we will found the image will be produced. So the same thing will be happens here also. Okay, whenever the distance of the screen will be increases, then what happens? The shadow of the object will not be produced. The same thing will be happens in the case of birds also. Sometimes what happens? The birds are going to be flying on the sky. If the bird is flying very nearer to the ground and the sun is there, then we will find that the shadow of the bird will be there on the earth. But if the same bird is flying more height, then did you find the shadow of the bird? No, we can't find out. What is the reason? Diffraction. Because whenever the ray of light is going to interact, it will bend towards the obstacle. Due to that reason, what happened? We are not going to get the shadows itself. Okay, that part is also very important for the competitive part itself. They will ask that the bird is flying from certain height and the image will not be produced on the earth. What will be the reasons? Okay, the two reasons may be there. First one, the source which is very large in size when you compare with the bird. Second one, due to the diffraction, what happened? The geometrical shadow place is going to be disappears itself. Okay, so these are the concepts of the diffraction you have to remember. Okay, so that's all for today. Okay, we are going to discuss how the diffraction pattern will produces, and I already explained that at this place what happened, the mixed space is going to produces bright bands and the dark bands. How the diffraction can be explained by using the interference pattern, tomorrow we are going to discuss. Okay, right up to now, what are the topics we have discussed, try to remember them. And don't miss the tomorrow's class because there is some important concepts we are going to discuss, and if you won't understand that concept, then it will become very difficult in the diffraction pattern, how the intensity will be changes here. Okay, so today what